All right, so let's begin first of all by getting the feel of the blues. Now, bear with me. If you already know how to get that nice bluesy feeling, and you feel as though you got it down, then you can skip over this chapter and start right in on the arrangement. But I know a lot of times students will get something together like. It's just something simple like that. But they can't make it sound really like. Make it sound really bluesy like that. Now, part of the reason for that is that let's kind of break up what it is that we're doing. We've talked before, and I've explained before, and I'll explain again now, that you got to get the right notes, okay? But it's also the rhythm. So, getting the right notes to play is very important, right? But a lot of times, students will spend a lot of time thinking about, what is the right note and what's the wrong note? When really, they should focus more time on what's a good rhythm, or how can I really play a rhythm that I know well, that just really grooves in the pocket, okay? And then apply notes to that rhythm, okay? Because let me show you something. If I play like just these notes, and I. It's like, okay. It sounds all right, but it doesn't sound great. Whereas if I do something more like, okay, I'm able to get a sound there that sounds much more, it has a little bit more grit, okay? Now, that's all about rhythm. Okay? It is all about rhythm. It's all about feeling comfortable with rhythm and also having some rhythms at your disposal. All right. So notes and rhythm. That's one side of it. Okay? So you want to make sure that you have that down first, is those notes and rhythm. The other thing, though, that I'm doing, and this is kind of some of the secret sauce in the blues, there's a couple of other things that I'm doing that are embedded in there. One, dynamics. Very, very important. Dynamics. I'll get to it in a second. Two, articulation. Right? I'll explain that one in a second. And three is kind of like what I like to call that X factor. It's the bad boy factor. Okay? It's like the being bad. It's like the kind of like little nasty grit in there. Like, it's like the lion in you. Right? So if I take, if I go back to this same thing here, and I'm going, just I'm in the key of G. I'm going, B and D, okay, it's just the third and the fifth of a G chord, all right? Now, the dynamics, notice that I'm not playing all of the notes the same dynamic level. If I just do this. Here, those are really, much louder, softer, louder. So when I get that grace note in there, right, that kind of like that grace note moving from the B flat to the B natural, right? We also call those blues notes. And that C sharp up to the D. Okay? You notice that the dynamics have changed. I'm really kind of digging into those notes. Notice I'm not doing this. I'm not banging. That's really going to hurt my hand, and I'm not going to be able to play like that for long before I actually hurt my arms and won't be able to play anymore. Right? So it's just playing those notes until they break. Let me explain that. On a piano, you have a hammer that hits a string. if that hammer hits the string too hard, okay, where you like really, jam down on a note, it's going to make this sound that's going to like break the sound. And it doesn't mean that the string is actually going to break, okay? It means that the sound is not going to be a nice round sound. It's going to get to that point in which it's harsh. Imagine if you're talking at a volume in which you're trying to scream. Your voice starts to break. It starts to become harsh. And you can almost kind of feel it, that it's like, ooh, wow, yeah. Like if you're at a concert, you're like, ah, you're screaming. The next day you don't have a voice, or your voice is a little bit sore, right? That's the same thing that's going on here. You're playing those notes to the point in which they're starting to break, that dynamic level. However, you're just getting to that point. You're not going overboard and making it so that all the notes are breaking. You're not making it so that you're like banging on the keyboard. You don't want to do that, okay? Right, now that is your dynamics in there. That's really playing so that it's loud, right? Or so it's much more forceful. Notice how I'm grabbing in on these notes as well. I'm not just putting my arm down and keeping it all stiff. I'm also, see how I still move my wrist? I still keep it loose. So I want you to try that first of all. Sorry. Okay, now